What's up, everyone? It's Snoo. Welcome. We interrupt your regular scheduled programming of 1,000 Fortress Curation Barrel maps to bring you 100 Crimson Temple Divination farming maps. We're going to get rid of the Curation Scarab, get rid of the barrels. It's going to be way easier to set up. Why am I doing this? Well, I got a lot of people asking me, to be fair, what about other farms? What about tier 16? What can I do on tier 16? Tier 17 is too hard, too annoying, too expensive. The stakes are way too extreme. Snoo, can you give me something to do at the lower level, a little bit lower level, or something akin to what we used to do before? Well, I'm going to combine the old and the new today. I'm not going to be doing a Divination Crimson farm of old. We're going to be doing the brand new back to basics farm on Crimson Temple of all things. Can you believe it? Yes, that's what we're doing. I'm going to bring you to the skill tree right here. Again, wow, look at that. It's the same damn tree every time. Now, to be fair, of course I tested this a little bit in advance and I tried the higher end juicing form of this farm with some different scarabs than we've had in the past. And it's pretty good, but it does require the cost of the map to be a fair bit higher. I would say in many respects about double what I'm going to show you today. And it also doesn't really produce better than about double the divination cards anyway. However, total loot per map will probably be better with a strat like this. So just to give you a point of reference, today's farm does not feature this atlas in front of you, but this is the atlas that I tested with that I thought was also pretty good. Made the maps take way longer because of alva and rituals, things like that. But it was double divination scarab, divination of completion, and divination or scarab of awakening with imbued beyond. That's what the strat. You can also do a slightly tweaked version of this with like bloodlines or something. But anyway, I ended up settling on back to basics again. It was kind of cool. Just the fastest 100 maps farming experience I think I'm ever going to have here going into this. So that's the atlas. It's just the same kind of style. We're not knocking down barrels. We're just killing monsters. And I'm going to be using some breach all flames in the event that get really good lantern mod. That's about it though, you know, for the quant global pack size quant mod, the touched or possessed mod, the increased pack size mod. I think it would be wise to go ahead and throw a breach all flame on there. So if I were you, I might prepare some of these. Pretty cheap to get. The scarabs as part of the setup will be double divination, divination scarab of completion, and hunted traders. This seem to be some pretty high value for very cheap. On this farm in particular, hunted traders should be pretty solid. And then for the maps, a nice selection of 8 mod corrupted Crimson Temple maps that were extraordinarily easy to access. Not really even going to budget any extra cost in these. And that's because you can farm upwards of 100 of these maps doing one map at tier 17. Granted, that farm's a little harder to do. Either juiced up or back to basics tier 17 maps with a super high more maps roll. You can throw in, you know, the typical cartographer scarab. This one here, scarab of corruption, scarab of duplication, if you want, and then bloodlines. Very good to use bloodlines on that one because then every single monster can drop a map, or not delirium monsters, but yeah, you get the idea. So that's how I acquired a whole bunch of these. I think I will come out with a separate video right after this one, showcasing a short video, so be on the lookout for that. But it is quite simple to do that. Anyway, you'll notice that some of these maps have delirium on there. So I have been getting told by some people that I should be doing these back to basic map with maps that were preloaded with delirious. Well, it turns out that it doesn't matter because it just kills the deliriousness anyway. That's why I just found out like an hour ago. Finally got around to messing with that, and it was pretty easy to get maps with delirium rolled because that could be done right. I don't remember where it is. Right here, delirium scarab of delusion. So I anticipated this would be a pretty good time to do a back to basics map with delirious pre-rolled on there. Free delirium, anyone? No, can't do it. So, oh well. What's going to happen is I'll load this map in, which you'll see in a first map showcase. I'll load the map in, and it just simply won't have any deliriousness. That's it. All right, so yeah, that's the recap. We're going to be using all flames on the really good lantern mods. We're going to be using these 4 scarabs. We're going to be running 8 mod corrupted Crimson Temple maps. They're going to be a lot easier than normal. I would recommend a magic find build for this strat. You're definitely going to want to have some quant on gear. I don't recommend this one with 0 quant. I have 42% quant. Definitely a good farm to do with like 90% quant if you can. But at any rate, there are a few things we need to talk about here, because I'm going to have to normalize the results. Since we're using a completion scarab, things get really squirrely with the weightings. I do want you to be aware of this stack deck sheet from 3.23, probably the best sample size that we have. The gambler's weighting is, on average weighting, 5,373. And we're going to be referencing that to the 7 years bad luck weighting. Down here is 71. And I mean, you can care about the enlightened if you want at 78, around the same. And the apothecary will matter here at a weighting of 10. So what that means is, in terms of weightings, these are some very important numbers here. Now, the gambler to apothecary is very simple. The weighting according to this will be 530 to 1, which is about where I suspect it would be. So for every 530 gambler cards, I should get 1 apothecary card. But for completions, it could be a little different, except in this case, not so, because the gambler completion is a set of 5, and so is the apothecary. So that ratio will remain true. Not the case, however, for gambler to 7 years bad luck. We have to look at the difference in the ratio, and then also take into account the fact that 7 years, we're going to be collecting 17 cards when we pick up 5 instances on average. 17 cards. And the gambler will be picking up 9 cards when we click it 5 times on average. That's how the completion scarab works. So we need to take that into account, which means the gambler to 7 years bad luck is even more favorable. And with the 7 years bad luck being worth so much at this point, it's kind of a good late league farm. This is going to work out really well, and that's why I think this farm should be on your radar as a potential winner. Now, that said, I'm going to have to pay close attention to the Divination Scarab of Completion price. I was able to buy these all at 1 divine each or less. If I wanted big bulk, I would have to buy them in like 1 div a piece. But you can basically see here that that's essentially the only cost of the map. It's the Divination Scarab of Completion. Everything else is borderline free in comparison. So I'm going to round up here in this case. We're just going to call this a dead even 100 divines per map. That's how much I'm investing per map. And then we're going to find out what the gross net divination per map is, which is going to be a pretty low number, actually. And then divination per hour will hopefully be decent, because it's going to be extremely fast maps. And we'll do div normalized based on the gambler's drop rate. And I'm going to be using a different filter. I'm going to be using, let's see, this one here, Insane Strict. So this will make the gambler card show up, as well as a few other things. I will actually be picking up single copies of like Gem Cutter Prisms and Chaos Orbs. I'm going to treat this like a lower level farm, kind of a little bit true here. And hopefully we'll make some good currency. Now, the average map that I run, I'll lose currency, most likely. But when, I get this random Divine Orb drop, or a 7 years bad luck drop, or even an Enlightened card stack or something, a little bit of random currency here and there, and we'll look for the jackpot drop. Hopefully we'll be making currency, and I hope we see at least 1 full stack of 7 years bad luck. That is essentially the that's the real jackpot drop that we're going for here. And the apothecary card, or apothecary stack on the side. So let's get ready. We're just gonna put all these maps in. I'll put these to the side, I guess. I'm gonna be pretty sparing on the breach things here. And you do want to run the unidentified ones if possible, because they give you a free 30% quant. I don't think it's multiplicative or anything, it's just additive on the top at the end. And then we're going to, again, going for the back to basics tree, we're going to have to use increased quantity of items found. And by all means, do the juiced version of this. If you want to set this up for a juiced version, similar strat with either Bloodlines or Horn Scarab Awakening, get an imbued option instead. That's not a bad idea. But you will take much, much, much more time in the maps. Check out how fast this map is. Okay, lanterns, not very good. Just gonna send it through. hopefully, will be an easy map. I don't know. It's unidentified, but I can kind of deal with it anyway. And look, there's no delirium. I should have delirium here, right? But it's gone. So no. I'm not really sure if the back to basics roll is good or not. I haven't done enough of these maps to know for sure, but I think it is because, yeah, 120% pack size sounds like it'd be really high, right? Okay, well. Looks like it's a map where I don't get any flask charges, so that's going to slow me down a little. It looks like this was actually a very good back to basics roll in the end. The 120% pack size should be pretty extreme. So you gotta remember, like, these maps spawn baseline around 70 to 80% pack size if it's like not back to basics. So that's how good it has to be to get up to 120. I guess that would be probably around 70% back to basics. So this must be pretty high. Which is why we're seeing a lot of gamblers drop. But not a whole lot of other stuff drop. Oh, look, a sanctuary map. Yeah, can't forget the tier 17s do drop as well. And map's done. I don't know how long that was, but, you know, I think most of these maps are going to take about 1 minute flat. I'm not even going to use an overlay. It'll be a waste of time. I'm just going to slam out these maps. I got 11 gambler cards here. I got 1 full stack and then 6 of the random ones. So I got 7 gambler cards. Picked up 7 gambler cards instances there. And that would average to around 11 or 12 per map. Only in the event that I get a really high back to basics roll though. So not going to be all the time. But sometimes I'm going to get an amazing lantern mod. And that's definitely going to impact things in a good way as well. All right, you can see this one's 96% pack size, so not as good, but still fair. Wow, that was easy. Why not 5 though? Okay. I think I'm supposed to get like 1 of those in 100 maps, maybe 1. I got my 1. Apothecaries, you know, will come, but not not frequently. Should get a lot of chaos orbs here. No, I thought it'd be the right one. I'm just gonna pretend these chaos orbs are divine orbs. Okay, thanks, bye. Shit, it's like a manifested wealth. Almost as bad. My wrists. My wrists. There's 1. 7 years. Well, 2 enlightens, 1 7 years, 1 apothecary. No stacks. Never lucky. Have to jump through to make it on in YouTube. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's easy to make it on YouTube. That's where you make it. You make it on YouTube, then you naturally become a somewhat successful streamer. Because you drag people from YouTube over to your stream. It's actually really hard to become a successful streamer purely through Twitch. You have to have the cross-pollination, and it really has to start on YouTube. It can't even start the other way around. It's not like people are going to go from Twitch to your YouTube. They're going to go from your YouTube to your Twitch primarily, and you'll drag a few. Only once you become very popular on Twitch, you will start to drag some people from Twitch to YouTube, but it definitely starts the other way around. Divination of Curation? Alright. Let's make some money. I'll take it all back. The real money is made is dropping Curation Scarabs in a map. That's real. I mean, not like RMT or anything. Mana Forged in like, well, hold on. If I'm going Ignite, I'm gonna go Elementalist almost certainly. So I guess I am asking. Do you oh my god, and this again? Anyway, cast on crit, detonate dead, Elementalist, Burning Arrow, Ignite. Does that even have a chance of being a build? Poison instead. But then it makes even less sense to do cast on crit. One 7 years. Damn. I have 50% proc rate on Enlighten. Imagine if I had that on 7 years. Shoot. One 7 years. Oh my god. No stack. And girl, thanks for asking. Can you even do? You can't do it with Back to Basics, right? Yeah, so it's a different. It's a different category of farm. That is more a juiced farm. And you're probably like working with like so. Oh my god, a 6 Enlightened stack again. That's the third one, guys. Sanity in one map. I'm saying drop it in one map. First map. It's that easy. One 7 years. Oh my god. I'm starting to feel the same way as when I drop an Unrequited Love in my 1,000 maps. Why do I hate this game so much? God. What happened to the curation strat? It's on pause for 100 maps. It's okay. I said at the end of my video I wanted to test this real quick. Just on standby, no big deal. In 7 years again. Still chasing that first 7 year stack. Oh my god. Last map magic, anyone? Touched by tormented spirits. Okay. Oh wait, what? Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, come on. High density, more pack size, possessed or touched by tormented spirits. It doesn't even get better than that. Literally didn't see this lantern yet. And it's huge! Back base, 130% pack size. Oh my god, this is actually the best map of all the maps. Is map number 100. Highest drop potential is this map right here. Stars aligned. Alright, I want to see the red stars aligning 13 in a row. If you catch my drift. Look at this crazy amount of loot dropping. Suddenly it looks like a juiced map. Last map magic is real. Real, I say. It has to give it to me, this one. Been denied to the 100th map. Be the one. Neither one. Or, you know, I could do 5 apothecaries, I guess. I would settle for that. No! Almost done with the map! Oh my god, how many gamblers did I get this map? 22 gamblers? God. I've been scammed. Okay, guys, here we go. Results. All right, it was pretty bad. I got quite unlucky. I was just laughing about this with chat. I essentially got 0 value out of the completion scarab, which was the vast majority of the investment. So that was almost all of 100 divine investment, and I did not complete the apothecary once, and I didn't complete 7 years bad luck once. So, well, there you go. Let's take a look here. We got 51 divines and 7 years. 7. That's a breakdown. Apothecaries there. The gambler is not really 1C per, so that's a little bit of a mishap there. Enlightened card 21, so 6.4 div there, and that's basically it as far as you know. We got the life thief down here. Oh boy. That's still there. We got a little bit of currency. I'm sure I dropped more divine orbs than exalted orbs, right? No, it's the same. 4 out of 4. Nice. Sanctuary map is worth a little bit. A couple of scarabs. Curation scarab is a lucky drop. I would categorize this as the only sort of lucky drop, bit of an outlier. It is 100 maps. You kind of anticipate getting some sort of lucky drops worthy of 10 divines. I don't think it's that crazy to imagine. Anyway, here is the rest of the loot. And yeah, there's a few things in here that aren't really easy to liquidate, but I don't know. It's for the most part, it's fine, I think. So the breakdown is here. Actually, I want to go back in and fix something real quick. Because, yeah, I shouldn't count gamblers here. So I'm going to do that. And, okay, new number. Okay, so the investment was 100 divines and gross 92, which means a negative 8 divines. Again, hell, I didn't complete any valuable divination. I got to complete at least 1 7 years to make that make sense, and perhaps, you know, complete 1 of the apothecary. Then that's minus 0.8 divines per map, minus 2.6 divines per hour, with a normalized currency earning of 21.8 divines per map, or, okay, this was done in 3 hours, or a little over half a divine per map. These maps were done in almost 1.5 minutes flat, so that is one of the big appeals to it. 40 gamblers to 7 years bad luck, 530 gamblers to 1 apothecary. This is how I normalize the loot. If we go back in here and see, 942 gamblers, so we use that math, divide it, and again, I explained in the intro how I arrived at these numbers for the normalized rate. Again, hoping to get completion procs on 1 or more, 7 years, and maybe one of the 2-ish apothecaries that should drop. I only dropped 1, but should have dropped 2. So it's roughly a 20 div per hour strat. On a 42 quant character, it would be higher for somebody else. That is with 110 div lucky drop in there. Everything else seeming quite standard. Again, that's across 100 maps. This is the kind of numbers I would expect. I would expect to average 20 div an hour for this farm, which I think is not, you know, it's not terrible. It's not that great. Definitely a little bit of fun jackpot orienting going on. Maybe you run this strat with no completion scarab and you just use, I don't know, mysterious scarab, barrel scarab instead, because I hope that it procs volatiles. If you want, sure. But it came out a little worse than I hoped, but I wanted to see what would happen if we tried to take the strat over to the curation, or take it from the curation tier 17 barrel strat and bring it over to Crimson Temple and try to mold it into something that could perform halfway decently. So the final thoughts are, it didn't pan out really well. It's something you guys might be interested in doing. Completion Scarab can be a lot of fun. Pay attention to the price. If it drops well below a full divine, I definitely think you should consider using it. Currently, 7 years bad luck is more valuable than the fortunate cards per the weighting, so I do not recommend doing this on a fortunate map just for the sake of the fortunate card. Probably not going to be worth it. 7 years in the Apothecary especially together, whether it's Defiled Cathedral or Crimson Temple. Crimson Temple is higher density, so that's the reason why you want to do Crimson Temple. Not for the boss rushing ability this time. You know, you take a look at that 100th map. The final highlight was a lot of fun to get that crazy good lantern and to get that proc that really high back to basics roll. Makes me excited to do the map. I had a reasonable chance of seeing a 7 years and or completion there on that map. Didn't happen, but I kind of enjoy this sort of unique Alk and Go global drop thing that can actually halfway compete with juiced up farming strat. And final point will be, I definitely would make more currency per map doing a juiced version of the strat that I mentioned sort of offhand in the intro with an Atlas, something like this. But you do keep in mind, it's gonna, for me, it would add a factor of 3 or 4 to the time per map. It would also make me have to care more about the rolls on the map. That would definitely be a lot harder to complete overall. So I do quite like this strat that I did. Super breezing through the maps. It feels like Alk and Go, just cutting through the packs like butter. Very quick maps. It was over. It was started. I started it and it was over suddenly. Just talking to the chat. Didn't even think about anything. Could have been watching a movie off screen instead. So that's how it went. So give it a try if you want. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you think it's better without the completion, what other scarab you would use if you are Team Juice over Team back to basics, not barrels. But anyway, I will be going back to barrels. Now, we'll get back on the 1000 map train. Don't want you to think that I'm just stopping it. I will be doing it, continuing it, moving forward in the next few videos. So that's where you'll see me. More barrel and go curation scarabs. The super high stakes farm. Here we go.